Hello, friends, and welcome to the Homewrecker podcast, where we wreck and shatter conventional wisdom and ways of thinking by bringing alternative viewpoints and different subjects to light in an attempt to not only change the thoughts and feelings most people accept as reality, but to obliterate them completely. I'm your host, former pro wrestler, the Golden Greek, Alex Arion, and I'm joined as always by my beautiful wife, the gorgeous, amazing, certified hypnotherapist, the lovely Monique. Monique, how are you?
Hi. Honestly, I'm pretty shitty right now. What a way to
Yeah,
start a podcast. We've had a very sucky week.
it's been rough.
Yeah.
It's definitely been rough.
My meme died. And that's for French people, grandmother. And our cat died on Christmas. The one who we said wasn't doing well. He passed away peacefully with us.
Thankfully.
Yeah. But so that sucks. So we're gonna do our best to make it a fun show. And to do that, I want to bring up a piece of mail that we got.
Oh boy,
because this makes me laugh.
I just glanced down at it. So let's try to get silly and try to get laughing here.
Let's hide our sad feelings.
Let's
just
try.
kidding. So the other day in the mail, we get a flyer for our watchers, and I just see a thing called Love Sack, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Love Sack? And I'm like, oh, it must be like underwear, because in my mind, a love sack is like underwear that provides ample room for the crotch, because that just makes sense to me. And so I'm like looking at it, I'm like, I don't really see underwear on here. And I look, and apparently it's a couch that does stuff. It has
it's a couch that does stuff.
I don't know.
Great description.
Fabric specific tuning. I guess it has like audio. I don't know.
We're giving these folks, we've talked as much about it. Might as well give like a website or something. Even though this would be like the greatest product placement plug if we were actually getting paid or something.
But it was funny because I thought it was for underwear when I saw Love Sack. And what did you think it was for?
I didn't know what the hell it was for. I honestly was like, Love Sack, what? I just thought it was the funniest name, Love Sack. Like what? And it's Love Sack Stealth Tech. So like, what is this? Like,
I just saw Love Sack, and then I got the B-52's Love Shack in my head from it. But instead of Love Shack, I'm singing Love Sack in my head. So
yeah, there you go. Love Sack, baby.
Love Sack.
Love Sack.
Baby Love Sack. That's where it's at. But it's not underwear, though it should be.
Yeah, it may as well be. So why don't you go ahead and check that out if you want to. That's why I love direct mail. That's why a lot of times when you get like those Valpak coupon deals or whatever, I've never used a coupon from there, but I always open them, and I always like to see, because a lot of local businesses will advertise in there. And I just like to see like what's around, what's going on in the community, what are the businesses, what are the different things, because we don't really get out and drive around much. So I just like to see, I don't know what's out there, what's around. I like to see what people do in their advertising. It's just, that stuff's always kind of fascinated me. So anyway.
Yeah. So anything else with you, my love?
No. The holidays, Christmas is behind us now.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody had an enjoyable one. Ours was
hopefully better than ours.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, there was bad, but we had some really great moments too.
We did,
and the time spent with family was fantastic. And I'm always grateful for that. So
very thankful for my family.
Absolutely. So we are now, as everybody hopefully is hearing this, we're getting close to the end.
Yes.
Of this.
The end is near.
Of this 2021.
Yeah.
And I saw a funny thing the other day. Well, funny, I guess. You kind of have to laugh at it, but it was a meme, and it said the hardest thing about 15 days to flatten the curve is those first 2 years.
Right.
And I just thought that was, I thought it was funny because it's true. And
it's funny because it's
true.
You
have to laugh at this point at the absurdity. But anyway.
Or ghost her. Yeah. I'm not going to say or something because I'll get in trouble.
Right. So moving on, We are almost at the end of 2021 now,
Yes.
and we're going to be coming up on 2022. So we decided, we thought it would be a good idea for you to pull some tarot cards, and you
Yes.
did that. And I don't know anything aside from like a couple of tiny little hints you gave me at stuff, but you didn't go into any detail at all. So this is all going to be news to me,
Yes.
but you're going to tell us what to expect for 2022. And we did this at the end of 2020 as
We
well.
did. Yep.
So
And I'm doing it again.
we're doing it again now.
I will say, Paranormal Karen, our friend Karen Montowski, she asked me to come on our show at the end of the year. She always does her tarot, her predictions for the next year. And it's the New Year's show, and that will be airing New Year's Eve. So you can hear me on there, but we only have a few minutes. So I had to like go really quick. So I have more details for us here.
Right. And
Yeah.
we're gonna go. Are we gonna break it down now? Like I said, I didn't look at your notes. I don't know. So are you doing it by quarter,
I'm
like
doing it
3
by
months at a
quarter,
time?
but I have, some information.
Okay, so we're not going month by month. It's just the first
Yeah,
quarter.
I'm gonna kind of go
Okay,
through kind of some stuff that came up and how I got the information.
sure.
Um, so basically, when I do my tarot readings for the year, I pull the cards and I see what I get, but I also like to pull oracle cards for any additional information, just if I want some clarification on something, just a little extra confirmation to see what I get. And it was really interesting because everything I did my Rider Waite tarot deck for the main tarot reading, but then I used my animal spirit oracle deck. I used my dragon oracle deck, and I used an oracle deck called Angelarium, and it's like Oracle of Emanations. And that's a really cool deck because it has different angels. And everything that I got just coincided with each other for each quarter because I just pulled the oracle cards for each quarter. And it was really interesting. So,
Well, why don't we break into it then? I'm gonna assume, and again, this is just an assumption. I'm going to assume that at least some of the audience knows what you're talking about when it comes to those cards. And you've explained the differences and things like that to me, but honestly, because it's not something that I am really a practitioner of or anything, you tell me, I go, oh, okay. And then if you ask me 10 minutes later, I'd say, I forgot what that's about. I'm sorry. And it's not because I'm being a jerk or not listening or paying attention. It's just,
you don't
it's
get
not,
it.
I don't get it.
That's okay. Well,
But
I'll just
I
explain.
respect
So,
the hell out of it. Don't get me wrong. And honestly, some of the stuff that you've predicted or have seen or said has been uh, very accurate, scarily accurate. So, like I said, I respect the hell out of it. So I'm interested to hear what's going to happen here.
so typically when you have like the Rider Waite tarot deck, each card represents something. You have major arcana and then minor arcana. So the major, you have things like, if you're familiar even a little bit, like the Fool, the Magician, Emperor, Empress, Priestess, High Priestess. There's the Sun, the Moon, these different cards. Then you kind of go into suits. So you have Wands, Cups, Pentacles, and I always like blank whenever I have to think of them. It's like, wait a minute. Uh, Anytime I get put, like, I feel like there's pressure on me, I kind of freeze. If you're like, Monique, what's 2 + 2? I'll be like, I don't know. I have to think about it. But it's Wands, Pentacles, Cups. I can't believe I'm forgetting Swords. Duh. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Well,
know tarot. Ooh. So,
all
but
right.
so,
But
and
it goes mostly by like, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but it goes mostly by what you feel when you pull the card, right?
well, so each card has a meaning. And a lot of people who read tarot go by the meaning of what the cards are supposed to represent. I don't necessarily do that. When I read tarot, the cards talk to me. Either things jump out from the picture that tells me stuff, or I hear things and it's telling me things. So just because I get a card on something doesn't mean that's like what that card is supposed to represent. That's not always what I get. I could have something that has nothing to do with that card. It's just whatever's, jumping out at me or what I'm being told about it. So when I read these cards, I don't necessarily go by what they mean. I go by what I get from it. When I
Okay.
do oracle cards, so a lot of oracle cards will either on the card tell you what it means, or I'll have a little bit of information, and you have the booklet, and that gives you all the info or deeper context into it. I like to look at the cards with the oracle cards as well and see what they're telling me. So that's what I did with my tarot cards and my oracle cards. And then I also I put down first what I feel, what I feel the cards are telling me. And then I will put in what they actually represent. And it was very interesting
All right. Well,
doing this year.
well, then let's get right into it then, and let's begin with the
So the
first
first
quarter
quarter,
of
January, February,
2022.
March.
All
So
right.
I wrote everything up so I have it together. So I'm getting that the first quarter is going to start the beginning of many transitions for us. The goal of these difficult changes is basically to help awaken our highest potential inside of ourselves. And it's going to be very difficult for people. But towards the end of the quarter, it will get easier. But it's more like a pause, a brief relief, if you will. It's just something like it's going to feel a little bit better, but it's not going to last long. And we're also going to be seeing some changes with the animal industry regarding animal welfare for the good of the animals. And I have a feeling it's going to be more like food, like for animals that are used for food, but I feel like there's going to be something good coming for animals. And also, it's important to look out for symbols from the universe as signs of alignment, especially like sacred geometry. If that stuff's really popping out to you, it's a symbol that things are in alignment. So be
It's
on
a
the lookout.
sign that things
Yeah.
are in alignment.
Yeah.
Okay.
The symbols are a sign that something's in alignment.
Okay.
Yeah. So what was interesting with this was when I got January, I got the Queen of Pentacles, and she has, and there's like a little animal on the card, and I was getting like animal, helping the animals. There's going to be help for animals, and it was just like it was really like sticking out to me, and I'm getting this feeling like, oh, we're going to help animals. I also get feelings too, so like I'll feel things in my body. But then what was really cool is for my Dragon Oracle deck. I basically got um, you know, it's saying that, sorry, I didn't mean to hit the mic. This basically was a card saying that this dragon that was pulled helps animals. And when you get this card, it's a path to help animals, protect them, heal them, be there for them. So it was just very interesting that
Hmm.
I got that deck because it really coincided with, everything that was the Sunshine Yellow Dragon. And in terms of like, we for my animal spirit, I got the snake, and that represents like awakening our highest potential. And the feeling I got was like this overall, like, it's like an uncomfortable feeling, but like we're all going to be going through it. And it's a bit of discomfort, but it's good. It's kind of like a snake sheds its skin, like it pushes through, it gets through, and then you have a new. And this will all come into when I get to the end of the year.
A quick question
Yeah.
on that, and you may or may not know the answer to this, but when a when a snake, excuse me, when a snake sheds its skin, is that a painful process for them, or is that just
No,
something?
no, but I'm
Okay.
just saying for us to try to like push through and get through it. So
Okay.
it's interesting. And it's interesting because a lot of the beginning of the year comes into play with the end of the year. And it'll make sense when I get there.
Is the snake like eating its own tail kind
Yeah,
of
in the
thing?
card it is.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. And like what I kept getting is like overall, and it was like going like a transition. And like if for the people not watching but listening, my finger, I'm doing like a circle, kind of going around and around. But yeah,
All right. Very interesting.
I'm like so excited. I want to jump to the end, but like we're gonna get through it. So then in the second quarter, April, May, and June.
Well, I tell you what,
Yeah.
before we jump into the second quarter, why don't
Oh,
we just take a quick
yes.
break, I need to get a refill in my Homewrecker podcast mug here, and we'll be right back. Hearers, watchers,
Homewreckers.
like what you're hearing or watching so far and want even more Homewrecker content? Then check us out on Supercast, where you can get more exclusive bonus content starting for as little as $5 a month.
You'll get more of the content you love and also have access to exclusive episodes, listener-requested shows, watch-alongs, AMAs, plus special deals on Homewrecker Podcast merchandise and more. Visit homewreckerpodcast.supercast.com to sign up or click the link in our show notes.
We really appreciate your support.
We do.
So hit pause and go check out homewreckerpodcast.supercast.com right now.
Or click the link in the show notes.
Thanks. And we're back. So now I've got a refill here. I've got my hibiscus tea that I'm drinking. No alcohol in here, I promise.
Just tea in our Homewrecker podcast mugs.
Right. But can we get into the second quarter now?
Second quarter, April, May, and June. So the beginning of this quarter, it's time we really got to work on ourselves. So I recommend anyone who knows about doing shadow work, do your shadow work. If you don't know what shadow work is, all the stuff that you don't like about yourself, you got to work on that. Anything that makes you uncomfortable, you need to work on why that makes you uncomfortable. Things that upset you, why does it upset you? Most people know why they are the way they are, and they're why people might not like them or why they don't like things about themselves. You got to work on that. This is the time to get this done. We need to remove everything that no longer serves us, and then we need to find what brings us joy. And this is going to be a time in this quarter for connection with others. And towards the end of the quarter, we'll be gaining more connections to those we love and who bring us happiness.
That doesn't sound so bad.
But it's very difficult for people to do the work on themselves. A lot of people really struggle with that. I mean, I struggle sometimes.
No, okay. For that part, yeah, I can see that being difficult, sure. And that's something that, yeah, myself included, that's definitely something that I know I have to do, but it's one of those you keep putting it off. Like, yeah, yes, I'll do that. I know I need to do it. I know I need to get better about, trying to do this and better myself and everything, which I feel like everybody should be doing. But it is one of those things that, put off because I am kind of scared of what I will encounter or face.
Well, who really wants to look at their ugly side?
Well, that's just it. And that's, I mean, yeah, you don't, nobody wants to look at, we all have it. We all have our things, but yeah, it is. You're right. That is difficult to confront that. But what I was saying doesn't sound so bad as the way you ended it with, eliminating the stuff that's not useful to us, that's not necessary or needed anymore, and just
gotta let it go.
Growing closer with loved ones and holding those that you love close to you, and maybe rekindling or renewing some of those relationships. And that to me sounds great.
Yeah, and it's part of balancing yourself.
Sure.
It's like we can't balance anything else until we balance ourselves. And it's also important during this time, stay humble. Put the work in, do the work, but also stay humble, because I see people who I think sometimes kind of forget where they began and the way they talk to people. They kind of forget, and that affects others. It has that ripple effect.
Okay. Yeah.
And so it's really important as you're doing the shadow work, do the work, stay humble. And as you do that, sometimes, again, looking within yourself is difficult. So that's why it's so important to focus on what brings you joy, who brings you joy, and then use that to bring each other together.
All right.
Yeah. And with my tarot cards, everything that I got on there, it was interesting because my dragon oracle, I love my dragon oracle deck. I love my dragons. I got the rose pink dragon, and it's just talking about opening up your heart, and connecting love with the universe. And I'm like, oh, it's aligning with what my cards are saying. And it just makes me excited. But yeah, just like the other cards, again, like, oh, it just really lines up.
Is
There's
that rare that that
no,
kind of thing
not for
happens?
me,
Okay.
but when I choose a deck, like there's only one deck that I got that I was just like, oh, I'll try this Oracle deck. I heard great things about it and I didn't vibe with it.
Okay.
But when I feel called to a deck, when I use it, we vibe together. And so things just, it works for me, but also because I'm using my intuition. I'm listening to myself and I listen to the cards. For the second quarter, my animal spirit deck, I got a dolphin and my feeling was hope. And this is for basically like healing, blessings, and also, enjoying working on the spirit level, time for fun and play, healing art. So, again, finding what you love, be creative, especially in that second quarter, be creative, very important.
All right.
And in the third quarter, July, August, and September. So, we're going to see some big changes in this quarter, including change of leadership roles having to do with authority. And that's going to come early in the quarter. And there's going to be a lot of difficult work, pain, and sadness. So it's important to find what satisfies your soul and focus on the positive that's coming from off in the distance. So with this reading, one of the cards I got, it was just telling me like it's going to be really tough. Basically the theme of 2022 is ups and downs. Lots of ups and downs throughout the year, kind of like a roller coaster, just kind of like going everywhere. Where are we going to land? Well,
Okay.
back where we began in a sense, but it's different. Oh, our kitties are now fighting for anyone hearing that hissing. Um, and it's really important for that second quarter, how you find the things that make you happy, be creative. That's going to come into play in the third quarter as well. So that's why it's just so important, because good is coming towards the end of the year and you just got to hold on. So if you do that shadow work and you focus on creativity and gathering with friends and doing what makes you happy, it's going to be easier to find the positive.
So you're saying a change in leadership.
Yeah, I'm getting
So
change in leadership.
okay, now I hate talking politics, but
I do too.
are we to presume that that's what that means? For example, we're in the United States, so that would mean for us, a change in leadership would be like the president, right? Because that's I mean, we have our local leaders as well. You have
Mhm.
governors and mayors and that type of thing, but are we talking about the big head honcho of the whole country? Are we talking the president of Russia, for example? Could that be?
I feel it's more for
It's
us
more
in the
for in the
US.
U.S.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't be shocked if, but it's weird because it's like a man in power. It's a male presence. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's the president who's going to change a role at that point. Um,
So does that mean we're gonna have our first female president?
but
Is that
that's the weird thing. I don't get that feeling from the card. I don't
okay?
get a feeling of a female
That's okay. Very
taking that new
interesting.
leadership role. I feel like it's a man. I feel like a man, there's going to be a leadership change and the energy is very masculine. And I feel like it's a man, but I don't know. That's why I was kind of like, I don't know if it's the president, because I don't get that female energy.
Okay.
Like it's a woman going to be jumping in to take it.
Maybe perhaps change in like military leadership or something.
I'm not sure.
Because I mean, and I'm just again, obviously, I'm just
Mhm.
spitballing here, but the leader that you're talking about, obviously, we immediately our mind goes to president
Yeah.
because that's the one that we know, that's the one that's in the
Yeah.
public eye. But like, for example, if it is like say the head of like the Navy or the
Mhm.
Army or the armed forces or whatever,
What?
if that person changes, that brings new leadership into another like really influential part
Yeah.
of the country, which could have consequences, either good or bad, depending on what's going on
Mhm.
militarily, right?
And what's weird is I kind of like get it could even be the Pope.
Oh, that's another one too, because that's
Mhm.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That actually, I
But
didn't even think of that, but that makes sense too.
what's going to happen is this change is going to try to bring in even more authority.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a problem.
that I don't like.
Yeah. That's going to be a problem, but it's going to create change.
Change, like good change, like more authority being good change. Is that what you're getting out of this?
Like
Or
it's gonna
this
be the
change.
catalyst for change.
So this person that you're seeing is going to come in. We don't know who it is, but they come into their new position.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be more authoritarian than their predecessor,
Yes.
but that is not going to succeed because people are going to revolt against it, for example, and it will be they're trying to be more authoritarian is going to impact and create and be the catalyst for more positive
Yes.
change. Okay.
Yes.
I just want to make sure I had that clear.
Because one of the interesting things is for the third quarter too, my Angelarium Oracle of Emanations deck, I got Javru. I don't know if I'm going to say it right. Javura, Gevurah, left hand of judgment. And my feeling was pain and sadness. And what this card represents, it's the hand that separates the rule of law that brings order to the world. And it may be painful, but necessary. So it coincided with my card that's saying like more authority, like is coming, and law and order. That's what I got in the other card. And it's going to be tough, but we need it to change, to like for it to have us change our ways of things. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, you can interpret that in a number of ways.
You could, yeah. But that's just what I got and the feeling that I got. All right. You know what? Why don't we take a quick break? Because I need to fill my drink now.
Okay, fair enough.
I just realized when I grabbed it before, I'm like, I don't have much in there.
All right, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back and find out what's going to close out 2022.
It's a doozy.
Many people are unaware just how much hypnotherapy can help them, or think it's only to help lose weight or quit smoking. But there is so much more hypnotherapy can do. It can help with stress, anxiety, insomnia, phobias, performance enhancement, connecting with your spirit guides and higher self. You can even discover past lives and your life between lives. Heal traumas, break habits, find your deepest truth, or just have fun discovering who you really are, all from the comfort of your home. I'm Monique Pliakis. I'm a certified hypnotherapist, and I want to help you. Schedule a free consult by going to www.innerstandingshypnosis.com. That's INNERSTANDINGSHYPNOSIS.com. Understandings Hypnosis. Find your power and ignite your inner light.
And we're back. So let's see now. Quick recap. First of the year, or the beginning of the new year, is going to be
A lot of
transitional, which, I mean, granted, that happens every year, right? It's new year, new transition, right?
It's
We
going
all
to be
go through it.
difficult.
But this one you're seeing is going to be a little bit more difficult than past New Years and first quarters, because you were doing the first 3
First quarter.
months.
Yep. It's going to be a little more difficult, but I see a positive because I'm getting that there's going to be some kind of change starting with animal welfare for the good.
So that's a positive, of course.
Yeah.
And then the second quarter.
Then in the second quarter, pretty much this is the time to work on ourselves.
We work on ourselves. We try
as
to be
individuals.
okay.
And find what makes you happy. Be creative. Let your creativity come out.
And you also mentioned to get closer with the folks that you're close to, that you love, and also try to now eliminate the unnecessary from your life.
And
as
not
well.
just that, but also like it's about finding people like that you share that with, you know what I mean? Like finding those people who bring you joy. So it might not be people who were there in the past. It could mean new people coming in, finding new people who bring you joy, coming together.
All right. And real quick, even though we just talked about it, the third quarter,
there's going to be a change in leadership. So that's going to be interesting. And I think it's going to be a catalyst for change. So it's important because it's going to be very difficult. Find what makes your soul happy. Yeah.
And we
focus
think
on
that's going to
that.
be a catalyst for good change.
Yeah, change that we need.
Okay, great.
Change that's going to start a new cycle.
All right.
Because for the fourth quarter, October, November, and December,
Let's hear it.
October is going to suck. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
I got the Ten of Swords.
Let's just cut right to the chase.
So Ten of Swords is basically a guy face down, laying face down with 10 swords in his back bleeding out.
That doesn't sound good.
No. At this point, we're freaking done. Dead. Like, we need a break at this point. And it's gonna feel like you're down and you can't get up. And we basically need to just pause and we need to recalibrate everything. So it's like, take the time to just kind of pause, recalibrate, build your strength back up. Because then what's going to happen in going into November from October, we're going to start using, what we're thinking of, using more creativity to try to figure out how we're going to do what we need to do, how to get through things, what's going to work for us as individuals and as groups. And then finally by December, we're going to come to a new beginning. So it's like, we're basically going through this transition in the beginning, and we go through all this crappy stuff, all these ups and downs. But at the end of it, it's gonna be like, okay, this I finally see at the end of 2022, the new beginning. I feel like we're going to go through our final transformation of the year, and it's like a death and rebirth phase. So it's time to move on and move forward. We have to focus on the people and activities that we love and who make us happy. We need to stay creative, and we need to let go. Just let go of all that, holds us back emotionally, mentally, even physically. Like, let it go, because we're creating a new path for ourselves, and that will bring frequencies for higher love to flow.
Okay, that's a lot. It's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah. And so a couple interesting things. I pulled a card for the general tone of the year, and I got the Hangman. And what I got from that card is we need to go into 2022 with a different perspective and attitude. We are literally hanging on by a thread as society, and we need to use caution on how we approach and react to others. And that kind of plays in doing our shadow work, working on ourselves, right? Because a lot of times I bring up like the way we treat others, we're mirroring. So it's not like if somebody's a jerk to me, it's not because I deserve that or I was a jerk to them. They're just basically like, they're the one with the problem, not me. It's a reflection of themselves. So we need to be mindful of that. Another interesting thing that came up, I asked for something specific that's going to happen in the year. And I got the Page of Wands. And what this card told me is we're going to get a fire that's going to cause displacement for many. And it's going to be like a really big fire.
Like we're talking like when you say displacement for many, you mean like
something very destructive,
like national kind of deal, like a big.
Oh, it's going to make the news.
Wow. Okay.
But I don't know where exactly. But I think it's probably going to be spring, summer, going to that point between the second and third quarter. But the bright side of it is the cause of this fire, what happens with it, it's going to hopefully give people the ability to learn a little bit from it, to try to make things better in the future. So there's going to be something from it that we can learn from.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel about that, but okay. Now, you obviously you don't know where, but have you ever gotten, when you've done reading and pulled cards and things like that, have you ever gotten like an actual, like a pretty good idea or feeling of a place? Like for example, Hawaii or something, or do you get like a feeling of like an island or anything like that? Or is it
I mean,
not
where
like that
this
at
fire
all?
was, it felt dry. it felt kind of it felt really dry. It kind of felt lonely. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It felt lonely.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's difficult because like I ask for more information and sometimes I get feelings and it's difficult to put those feelings into words. So what I'm saying, I don't know if that comes out right.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's why I figured I'd
But
ask.
basically, the whole point of 2022 is a transition year. So, like I said, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. It's like a roller coaster. And it'll get better at the end of the year, but it's going to be difficult for people, especially those who can't let go. And emotions will continue to be high. So, we're already tired, and 2022 is going to be even more exhausting. So, the best we can do is work on how we react and handle things. Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. 2023 and 2024 will start to get better. So focus on your gratitude.
Oh
I
boy.
feel like come 2025, that's going to be kind of the end of this long term transition to get to where we need to be. And I think I even said it last time. Like, I kind of feel like overall, we're going to have to go through a few years. It's going to slowly start to get better. So I feel like by 2025, we're going to be getting there.
All right. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. This
I'm sorry. I wish I had better news.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That sucks.
I
That
know. I'm
sounds
sorry.
like who wants to deal with another year of crap? It's but I kind of feel like if what you're saying, if what you're feeling, if that is accurate, if it turns out to be accurate, then that's kind of like by design. I feel like whatever is in store for us, it's by design, whether for nefarious purposes or not. Yeah, I feel like we emotionally get toyed with all the different things and stuff like that that happens. So and yeah, it's I feel like everything's by design, whether it's a divine design if you believe in that, or if you think it's something else and more sinister. Then it's it sucks to be told that, but it also in a way is I guess hopeful because it doesn't last forever. It's like anything else. Things do get better after they after they get worse, but they have to get worse before they get better, right? So it just stinks that we're not past the worst part yet.
We're still going through it. And again, it's in a way slowly getting better. It's focusing on the light at the end of the tunnel. It's coming and it's just like little bits.
Hopefully that light at the end of the tunnel is not just a freight train coming our way,
I don't
to
think so.
quote a Metallica song.
Yeah,
Hopefully not.
I don't think so. But that's
Okay.
why it's so important to stay positive because with everything we're going through, I feel like there's such a feeling of defeat and hopelessness and despair. And where people are already struggling, there, people struggle even more. And I think a lot of the people who are really struggling, you don't know, you don't hear about it. They're not talking about it. And just sending, if you're one of those people listening or watching, I'm just sending you so much love and keep your chin up because we're gonna get there. So just hang tight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you right now, it's been tough. I mean, for sure, obviously,
Yeah.
that's not we're not breaking any news here. But yeah, I think what you said is right. It's the people a lot of times that are hurting the most or that are going through the toughest time are putting on the best face oftentimes. So it is important to just even if somebody seems like they're doing all right, still be compassionate and to try to be empathetic and understanding. I love that you said that because I think that's very true. I'll tell you right now, I myself am one of those people that tries to always put on a tough face. And I, if that's something that you see in me or hear in my voice, I'll tell you right now, I just get scared all the time of things. I'm human just like everybody else, and I know a lot of my a lot of people that I am close to or that I speak with. who put on similar strong personas in public, their public face, but they're just as upset, scared, uneasy about the future, uncertain about the future, and a lot of times feel hopeless. And it's tough to admit that, especially if you're a parent, or if you're in a relationship, or you have people that look up to you or look to you for support. It's a lot of times those people that are putting on that strong face, and that are putting on and being the love and support and shoulder to cry on for everybody else, are the ones that oftentimes are not getting it from anybody. So if you are one of those people that cries on somebody's shoulder, make sure that you let them know that they're appreciated and that they're loved too.
And they can cry on your shoulder too.
Yeah.
And that's something that I feel like happens to me a lot. Like people they'll talk to me and they'll vent and they'll, bring up stuff. And I mean, my world could be falling apart, but I'm not going to bring them down with that. I kind of feel like it's not a pissing contest. And, I need, I can be strong enough to like let them, to help them, to be there and listen. But, for those people, I also, when I do need to talk, I know that they're there for me and they'll listen too. And it's that balance. And you need to make sure that you have people like that you can speak with and be there for them and have them be there for you. That's really important.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And in terms of, like I'm a kind of person, like when I'm going through stuff, I'm more of like, just handle shit, get through it. But like, because somebody has to take care of everything. Somebody's got to get the shit done. And that's how I am. I'm like, okay, what do we have to do next? Let's go. Let's do it. And I'm kind of like that with everything. But I'm more like, handle what I got to handle now, fall apart later if there's time.
That's, I mean, what else can you do, really? Yeah, I mean, I try not to let things get to me very much. I try to occupy myself with other things that bring me joy and happiness, because if I'm not happy and I'm not in a good headspace and I'm not being positive, then what kind of example am I setting for my children? And that's where I'm finding my strength, because I know that I need to be strong for them.
But there's also a difference between being strong and being positive and just kind of like pretending everything's great when it's not. Again, it's finding that balance. It's about getting through what you need to get through and, releasing, allowing yourself to release, to talk, to vent, to cry, to get that stuff out. And that's one thing like we teach our kids, like it's okay to cry. It's okay to, release those emotions and talk about how you're feeling if you're not feeling so great. And trying to teach the difference of like, we don't cry because we don't get our way,
Right.
but cry when you're truly emotionally upset, like something is going on, you're going through something. And I think just as people, we need to be a little more understanding. We're all humans. We all make mistakes. We all have bad days. We all get grumpy, and just try to, focus a little less on your own shit and think, oh, maybe they're going through something too. And if we all do that, even if we're going through our own stuff, I think it's going to really help us going through next year.
Hopefully everybody can do that. I mean,
And
it's
I think
easier
a lot of
said than
people
done.
do. A
It
lot
is
of
easier
people
said than
do,
done. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
but just not enough right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like probably the people who need to hear this don't listen to our podcast.
Probably not.
But if you know somebody, if you're listening and you know somebody who needs to hear this, send them the link to the episode.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. Or just tell them yourself.
Yeah.
Be strong. Stick with
Yes.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else that you want to like address or talk about? I mean, how was your 2021 aside from the last couple of days?
Here's the thing. Maybe because I do focus on the positive, like you say, like you get scared, and I'm more of like, I only get worried if I feel like I need to be, and I haven't had that feeling yet. So I've gone through all of this unafraid and with positive thoughts and just holding so much gratitude. Just, I'm so thankful that I have my family, and I have a job and I have a home and I have food and I have fresh, clean water. That's awesome. And I kind of look at, there are days where I definitely get really hard on myself and wish I was doing better than I am. Like, why aren't I doing this or that? Why am I not in this position? But that's my own fault for, my own personal reasons of like convincing myself, oh, once you do this, we'll be there. I I know what I do. I find my flaws and then I got to work on them. So I've been
Like
doing
we
a
all
lot of
do.
work this year.
Like we all do.
Yeah, and I've been doing a lot of work on myself the past couple years or a few years. And I feel like it's really helped me, I think, get through last year and this year. And I think it's going to help me with next year.
Excellent. I definitely am going to I already started with your nudging, your helpful push, trying to do more like meditating. And I want to make that like a good habit. And I know, yeah, we're coming up on New Year's resolutions and all that kind of stuff. But
We don't do New Year's
we
resolutions.
don't do that stuff. We never have. We just
Mm-mm.
kind of make up our minds that we're going to do something and do it. Doesn't matter what time of year it is. And so, yeah, that's something that I think will definitely help me out a lot because I do tend to overthink things a lot. I do have an analytical mind. I'm always thinking, I'm always trying to plan ahead. I'm always trying to figure out what can I do to prevent this or to combat this if this happens and whatever. So, yeah, that's definitely something I'm going to be trying to do and definitely working on the shadow stuff as well.
It's funny that you say that you're always trying to think ahead. I'm a planner. I like to have plans like A through Z and then like backup plans, like 5 backup plans for each plan. But the difference is that if none of those plans work out, I can roll with the punches. I can just go with it, work on the fly. I mean, I don't know if I shared this on the show before, but I'm so like, I don't know if it's being a control freak, but like if I'm driving, I need to be aware of like all the vehicles around me. So if I have to slam on my brakes, I don't want to get rear-ended. If there's a plane flying low because we live near an airport, I think, okay, if this plane was going to crash, where could I go to get out of the way to not get creamed by the plane? Like these are the crazy, weird thoughts that go through my mind to try to be prepared. But at the end of the day, it's like, fuck, whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
That's true. And you're right. You can prepare as much as you can, as much as you want to. But at the end of the day, what's going to happen is going to happen. You're right. But I mean, it doesn't hurt to prepare, though. I don't think we should look down on people or
No.
think less of somebody that's over preparing for something, because I tell you what, if you're, for example, you're over preparing for like a food shortage or something like that, and you're one of those people that likes to stockpile food, have a lot of non-perishable food on hand, that kind of thing, and then there happens to be some kind of a food supply shortage or something, guess where everybody's going to go? They're going to go to the guy who they were making fun of for storing and being a prepper and storing all this food.
And if nothing happens,
That's
you
where
got
they're going to
food
go.
and you can eat it.
Exactly. And that's the other thing too.
Or you can
It's
donate it to people who need it.
Right. There you go. There you have it. So it's kind of one of those things where it doesn't hurt to prepare for certain
But you
scenarios.
got to be able to, when nothing's going to your plans, be able to say, you know what, fuck it. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen and roll with the punches. And that's kind of what we have to do with 2022 a little bit. But I think, we're going to be hit with some catalysts for change that we're kind of, you can't just be quiet about things anymore. Like we're going to have to, stand up for ourselves.
Excellent.
Viva
Excellent
la revolution.
Wow. All right.
I'm just kidding.
There you have
I don't
it.
know. Maybe I'm not. I know. I'm silly.
Okay, then. Well, there you have it. So on that note, I guess we'll wrap it up. There is the predictions for 2022. So
yeah. And if you read tarot, let me know if you did it and what you got.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear that if there are any of our hearers or watchers that
I know some of my girls do.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear what if there's any similarities, if there's any glaring differences, that kind of thing. I'd really be interested to
Yeah,
hear
me too.
other people's point of views and perspectives.
And if you're interested in what other people have to say regarding 2022, check out Paranormal Karen's New Year Predictions show on Friday, January 31st. It's Paranormal Karen. You can listen to her anywhere. And I think she has a YouTube as well. It's just audio.
There you go.
Mhm.
Awesome. All right. Well, on that note,
Thank you guys so much for joining us. It started off on a kind of down note, but we livened it up and then it kind of got up and down with the predictions.
yeah, a little bit.
We're preparing, for 2022.
Right. Well, on that note, until next time, I am the Golden Greek, Alex Arion. I've been joined, as always, by my beautiful, lovely, gorgeous, amazing wife and certified hypnotherapist, my Monique.
And you've been listening to the Homewrecker podcast.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We love you.
We love hearing from and interacting with our hearers and watchers. Feel free to reach out to us on Twitter
At Homewrecker Pod.
You can also visit our website,
homewreckerpodcast.com,
where you can check out past episodes and pick up some Homewrecker podcast gear from our online store.
Also, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe or follow button wherever you're hearing or watching our show. That way you can be notified whenever a new episode drops. We're on all major podcasting platforms, and you can check out the video versions of our show at YouTube and Brighteon.
You can also find Monique in a few places online as well.
I'm on Twitter @_MoniqueGiselle_. If you're interested in a tarot reading, organite, incense, candles, and other cool things, you can go to my website, tarotbymonique.com. Or if you're interested in hypnotherapy, you can go to innerstandingshypnosis.com to schedule a free 20-minute consult. And follow me on Twitter @MoniquePCHT. And Alex, how can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter @TheAlexArion, and you can check out my website, AlexArionFitness.com.
And if that's too much to remember, we get it. That's why we put it all in our show notes.
Thanks for spending your time with us, and we appreciate all of your support.
We do. Thank you. We love you.